Hello, I'm Tom Ferraro, an A&P IA. I'm a qualified installer for the uAvionix skyBeacon. This morning we're going to install a skyBeacon on the wingtip here of the FunPlacesToFly 172. I'm going to walk you through all the steps involved. There aren't that many, but this should be a quick and easy installation and give you a first-class view of exactly what we have to do. So let's go ahead and begin the process here. The first thing we have to do is obviously to remove the existing navigation light. And one thing you want to do to make sure is when you take this cover off is hold on to that little glass lens, because it is not secured in there. It's just held in there by this cover. And they're easy to drop. And they're expensive to replace should you ever need it. All right, there's the glass lens I'm talking about, and we'll put this aside. The next step is we're going to actually remove the light from the aircraft. There's 3 screws. These are the same 3 locations where the skyBeacon will be installed, but you won't use the same screws. Okay, once those 3 screws are removed and the nav light is ready to come off, it's a simple matter of pulling it out. In this case, we've already checked to make sure the power is off and the light obviously is off, but we'll cut both of these wires, the red being the positive wire and the black being the ground wire. Now that we have the red and the black wire exposed and hanging here, the nav light off, the next thing we'll do is we'll strip the wire to prep it for the installation of the skyBeacon to attach to it. Let me see. It's a handy little wire strippers. Not everybody has one, but any kind of wire strippers will work. So now that we have the wire stripped, we're ready to put the skyBeacon on. First thing you have to do is determine whether your airplane has a strobe or not. If it's got a strobe, then you will hook up this yellow wire. If it doesn't have a strobe, you terminate the yellow wire. I just put a cap on it and terminated it. And since we don't have a strobe, we'll just fold that back, and that'll be non-connected for this installation. What will connect is the black wire and the red wire to the airplane. So now that we've gotten ready to put the skyBeacon onto the aircraft, I've actually prepared it by putting the 2 splice butt connectors onto the 2 wires, the black and the red of the skyBeacon, be the positive and the ground. Now we're going to go ahead and just splice those and connect those to the aircraft. Then we'll get ready to put the skyBeacon onto the wingtip here. But first, let's get the electrical connection completed. Pretty simple. Always check mechanically to make sure you got a good pull, a good mechanical connection. If you got a good mechanical connection, you'll have a good electrical connection. Now we'll go over here and do the positive wire the same way. And we got a good connection on both of those wires. So electrically and mechanically, we're set. We've terminated the strobe wire since we don't have a strobe, as we mentioned earlier. The next step is really simply to put the wire inside the wingtip. It's fiberglass wingtip in there, and this will just kind of lay inside the aircraft. As you can see, I just put a tie wrap around this and bundled it so it's not all loose inside the wingtip. We'll put it back in the hole. We'll put up the skyBeacon. Make sure the gasket, the rubber gasket, is on there first. And what's important here is that there's 6 little O-rings in your kit. You put 2 of the little O-rings on every screw before you put it into the receptacle on the aircraft. So you'll have all your O-rings, which will seal that screw and seal the skyBeacon from moisture and security into the holes. It fits up exactly the same as the nav light you took off, if it's a Grimes or a Whelen or a standard nav light. The nut plates are behind there. You secure it. Again, there's a torque value it tells you in the installation manual. Essentially, it's a pretty light torque. You don't want to torque down on these screws. You just want to snug them up. The other thing you got to do is be careful to not pinch the O-ring as you put them in. It's almost easier to put them in the light first before you put the screw in. That way they go in nice and flat. Okay, we've secured the skyBeacon to the wingtip. Again, keep in mind these 3 screws need to be snug but not over torqued. You'll see in the back where that rubber gasket is pulling up against it. If you get that to squish just a little bit, you're good. And essentially you want to make sure that the unit is obviously secure. And that's ensuring that the 3 nut plates are actually gripping. So once you're done with that, the installation, the physical installation, as you can see with the screws recessed, the O-rings in there, is complete. Next we'll move to the section where we configure it. The next step is the fun part. It's the last short step to get your skyBeacon configured to your airplane to go fly. So obviously you turn it on, and it's pretty clear whether it's on or not. It's a very bright LED light. You go to your cell phone and you download, if you haven't already, the skyBeacon app from uAvionix, and you bring it up and it tells you to connect to the skyBeacon via your Wi-Fi. You will need to pull your Wi-Fi code out of the box that comes with your specific Wi-Fi. And that Wi-Fi password it's a unique password to your device. So a guy can't come and unscrew this and take it off your airplane and go and try to put it on his without a password that matches this device. Once you get into that, you'll get to a screen that says configure. It's going to prompt you for about a half a dozen questions, not even that many, about 3 or 4. First one is do you want it enabled or do you want it in anonymous mode? Basically, you enable it, and then that becomes your aircraft to the ADS-B world via your N number. If you want it to put in a randomly assigned code rather than your N number, you can do that by selecting anonymous. The second thing you do is you still put your N number in there, exactly how it is. At that point, it'll take your Wi-Fi connection in your cell phone and it'll go to the FAA website and it'll find your transponder, your AECO code, aircraft, your special transponder code. It'll put that in there for you. You can verify that by looking on FAA.gov and go to N number lookup and make sure it matches yours, but I haven't seen one not match yet. And then you put in your stall speed of the aircraft and essentially say configure it. It'll configure it, it'll confirm it's configured, and you're ready to go fly.